Welcome back to Sail Up. Today we're talking about refitting out a sailing boat. So we're talking about the ins, the outs, the positives and negatives. We're talking about who it's for, the costs involved, and we're out in Greece with Andy H here, who's already done it before. So we're actually on the shakedown cruise when this thing finally got launched, his boat, Voyager. So Andy is from the Ocean Cruises podcast, and he also runs the Odyssey Sailing Festival as well. And he's got thousands and thousands of ocean miles as well, which basically makes him an overall rock and roll legend of the sea. Let's find out what this man's got to say about it. Right, mate.
Hello there, what are you doing here?
Dunno.
Fancy you being on my boat, what's going on? Good to see you.
Good to see you, mate. So Andy's got this beautiful boat. It's, what is it? What is your boat?
It's a Geno 54DS 2003.
So that's 54-foot boat. It's actually 56 feet, aren't they?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I've got a bit of a bowsprit going on, makes it 56.
Yeah. And Andy bought this, how long ago did you buy it? Not that long ago, really.
No, so I got this boat 8 months ago.
Yeah.
I got it 8 months ago.
So basically you bought this boat, you bought it 5-6 months ago.
Yeah.
And the history is?
Yeah, so basically this boat was already circumnavigated. It originated in Greece, went around the world once and then came back to Greece. And then it had been on the hard for a couple of years. So it had been on a mooring ball in Thailand for, I think, about a year. And then it had been on the hard for 3 years. So it was a little bit
neglected.
Unmaintained. yeah, neglected, unmaintained, I'd say, yeah.
So I actually came out to Greece earlier on in the year to help Andy with this boat and help him get through some of the beginnings, or not the beginnings, because you did the main beginnings. I came through to help him paint the boat and got sort of shoehorned into doing lots of other things as well.
Well, you came to learn how to do some boat work, mate. Yeah, I taught you a few valuable things, I think.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Straight away, why would you do this?
Money.
And that's why you did it?
That's the reason. Money and availability.
Yeah.
I'd say money being the first one. Like I think I saved about 70 grand by buying it and doing the work myself.
70,000 pounds, is that? Or
yeah, 70,000 pounds, yeah. I think I'd say 70,000 pounds. And if you're willing to take on a boat that also needs a little bit of work, there's more things available there. And, you know, unless you're looking for one that's like completely finished and ready to go.
And so you reckon you say 70,000, and that's basing it against what?
So that's basing it probably against like what I'd expect like my labour to be worth if somebody else was charging me for that. Okay,
so if we were to look at what you spent and then put it up against, let's say, an average condition one, you could just go and set sailing. Where would that? How far off do you think you'd be?
Okay, so I paid 130 grand for this boat. That was $130,000. I think it was about 120,000 euros.
Yeah.
There was a few things that this boat have that probably a lot of the ready, nicer looking charter boats didn't have.
Yeah.
It had brand new teak deck, all new Raymarine equipment. The engine was in great condition. Now, if you were going to go and buy a boat like this straight out of charter, looking nice, ready to go, it would at the moment be about 200, 210.
Right. Okay.
That's the price difference.
Interesting you say the engine was in great condition.
It is in great condition. Ignore the water pump. It doesn't matter. We're getting that in Sicily. That'll be fixed.
So, a little bit about what we're actually doing here. So we came out for the shakedown cruise to help Andy out and enjoy a bit of Greece as well at the same time. And I think it's fair to say that we've had a pretty trialing, let's say, shakedown cruise. I think what could go wrong kind of has gone wrong.
Yeah. not to the extreme. I mean, the rig is still there, you know.
The rig's still there.
Still there. The engine works. The electronics.
I mean, don't get me wrong here. The furler broke, so part of the rig's not.
Yeah,
quite
something exploded on the furling drum.
Leaking water pump on the engine. I think that would freak a lot of people out.
$300, not a big deal.
Not a big deal,
$300
but
part.
When you're in the middle of the sea and your engine's leaking out enough water to what's it providing? Maybe in that 5-hour sail that we did, we probably had 20 litres in there.
Maybe a bit more, right?
Maybe a bit more.
Yeah, maybe a bit more.
So
you've got a bilge pump, so it's fine.
As long as that works.
Yeah, you've got a bilge pump.
So I guess that rolls straight into who's this for. I mean, would you recommend this to somebody who's maybe not that experienced? I mean, this is a big boat, so maybe a smaller boat we've got to think about as well here. If someone was looking at buying a 30-footer, they don't have the cash to invest in a, say, 40, 50 grand in a nice one, and they want to spend 10, 15 and then do it up. What do you reckon if you minimal skills?
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it for that, simply because the size of the boat, it is harder to handle. Like, it's You know, I previously had a 35-foot boat, and I could manage that by myself, no problem. All the work, managing the rig, managing the sails, and like, you know, we've put the sails up on this. That's half a day mission. That is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
I'd recommend it for a couple of people at least. But this specific boat, I'd say it's it's a circumnavigator, but I'd say it's a mid-latitude circumnavigator. You're not going to be taking it up north or down south to the extreme.
It's not built for that, though, is it?
No, it's not built for that.
So what about actually doing the work on the boat? So let's take us through what you've actually done to this boat, and let's sort of cast our eyes and think, what would that be like for someone who is not that experienced? And someone who is experienced, what's your actual experience of doing this? What are your thoughts after doing this?
What are my thoughts after doing it? I'd say it's worth a go. If you can pick up a manual for, you know, a pump or an engine or something like that. If you can watch a YouTube video on how to fiberglass or how to paint or how to change a pump or something like that, it's all relatively easy. There's nothing super complicated. The rig was in good condition, so for this type of boat, it was more cosmetic and also just changing lots of little bits.
Such as?
Oh, just loads of stuff, like all the navigation lights needed changing, the wiring was knackered. We had to do a bunch of rewiring behind the navigation table because that was a mess. I mean, we've actually done a lot. Like, we installed new lithium batteries, we put all the new inverters in. We actually did quite a lot of electrical work.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, and then I got some contractors to do some stuff as well. We've got a solar arch on here that's holding up the new high-field e-propulsion. So I got a stainless steel guy to make this, and, you know, put some balustrade in round where the wire was before. New upholstery, I got someone to do that. But anything that I could do, like that I had the tools to do, I did it myself. And
that, you reckon that saved you 70 grand?
That saved me 70 grand.
Magic. So and for somebody who's not that hands-on, let's say an academic kind of guy, what do you reckon?
No.
No.
No, like, listen.
I think it's a lot of work. I came
a lot.
I came in, like, how long have you been working when I got here? 4 months or something like that?
Yeah, 4 months.
So you've been working hard at it by yourself for 4 months in a boatyard in Greece. I turned up and the whole downstairs was taken apart and the varnish was being redone at that point, and me and another chap, JC, came over to help him. JC was varnishing, we did rudder repairs, we rebuilt the rudder, we put new rudder bearings in as well. You put new stern gland in, you've cleaned the prop up, sorted the prop out. You've had the bow thruster work done and sorted, you've had the stainless work done, you've got new sails up.
Bottom done.
Hey?
We did the bottom as well, we had to sand all the bottom down.
Bottom was all sanded, and painting a big boat as well. So time-wise, in total, how long?
I think, honestly, I probably spent like 4.5 months working on it, but that was like 4.5 months of like 12 to 14 hours a day.
Yeah, not your average kind of grafting.
No, you need to work hard if you want to get if you want to get something like this and actually get it done and leave the yard. You need to work like a dog. You really need to work hard.
So I guess the thing that you've always got to worry about with building a boat, either like taking a boat that needs quite a lot of work, it's that fear of, do you just buy cheap and go now? Which, with something that works but it's not that fancy, or do you spend up and work on it, or even just buy this for the same money, buy something that needs work? But I suppose the fear is always, you know, the potential of buying that marina boat that never leaves.
Yeah, I mean, you know, my perspective was like, we wanted to go cruising. Like, we had a mission which was to just start living on the water. We'd had boats before. I'd worked on my previous boat, you know that. You've been on my previous boat. So for us, it was about getting out there. And when I came to look at this boat, I was like, I'm comfortable managing the work on this, and I gave myself 6 months. So, and that fit in like time-wise with us as well. It was okay for us to wait 6 months, so that's why it works. I definitely encourage anybody to get something that they can do within a year. Because I think if you go past that 1 year point, you're going to get sick of it. Like, you're going to get tired of working on the boat.
I think that's a fair point, because I think you were quite sick of it. You took a break. We flew back to Greece, back to Spain together. And I think you needed a break then. That was probably 6 months of work. And you really needed a break. But yeah, so all in all, you would recommend it for someone who's handy?
For someone who's handy, definitely. For somebody who's more booksy or academic, I wouldn't put them off. I'd say, you know, just learn. I mean, if you're capable of following instructions, you can do the work.
I think it's time.
You just have to put the graft in.
Yeah, you've got the time to read and learn, but then you end up with that potential marina boat that never leaves again, eh? On that sort of note, though, you can read and do everything, but you have to be ready for the unexpected with a boat which has done a lot of miles, let's say, and probably not being looked after as well as it should have done in the latter part of those miles.
Yeah, I'd say that's where the experience thing comes in handy. It's like, since we've been on the boat like the past week, a number of stuff has broke, which is normal. You get it in the water, you don't know what's going to work and what's not. And when you have that experience of being on the water, you're able to go and be like, oh, okay, well, that's not a big deal. I'll get that fixed in 6 months, or I'll fix that in a week, or I'll use an IKEA chopping board. So it helps to have some experience before you start doing stuff like this. Otherwise, you'd spend way too much money, I think.
I think you can. So all in all, a lot of surprises and a lot of good fun, I think. We've had a really good trip on this boat so far, and it's been really cool to watch Andy go through everything that he's been doing. Now, if you are interested in looking at what Andy's been up to, obviously he's got his Ocean Cruisers podcast. That's really worth a listen to. He's always talking to like super famous sailors and YouTubers and the likes. Definitely worth a listen. And the Odyssey Sailing Festival, do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, Odyssey Sailing Festival. So that was an idea to bring together probably a group of some of the most famous sailors in the world, have them skipper ginormous boats, and people are able to come along and sail with them. So that's happening on the 9th of December 2023 in the BVIs. We've got Glenn Shepherd, Laura Decker, Alex and Brady from Delos, Eric Andra. We've got some legends coming. It's going to be great. And you're coming as well, actually.
There you go.
There you go.
So yeah, absolutely fantastic thing. That's going to be great to watch that and see what happens there. One other thing to check out is Andy's YouTube, which is Ocean Cruisers Podcast /
Sailing Voyager. Oh,
Voyager.
Sailing Voyager, actually.
That's the name of the boat.
Yeah, Sailing Voyager. Yeah.
Voyager.
Yeah, so yeah, if anybody wants to watch some of the refit work that I did and see me make a fool of myself, yeah, check out Sailing Voyager, and then you can watch those refit videos on there.
Yeah, I think it's actually a really good thing. If you're into looking at boats and how to build them and watching people who have done them, Andy's just whipped right through this. Not one of these sort of, we're going to spend 10 years building a boat or 3-4 years building a boat. He's fixed this boat up in like 6 months. Pretty straight to the point and good stuff. So aside from that, please like and subscribe to the channel. It keeps us ticking along nicely, and we'll catch you next time. See ya.
Nice, mate.
Cheers,
good job.
Nice.
Maintained a 6.5 knots through that as well. It was good.
It was perfect.